Hello, my fellow miners. If you know what that's referring to, I got a little bit of a late start here. Alrighty, guys, how are you guys doing? Oh yeah, let me turn on my light. That would always be a good thing. There we go. You guys can actually see me. Somebody give me a 1 in the chat. Let me know you guys can hear me okay. And we have a lot to talk about tonight. I've been doing some research. Have you ever heard of the 12 Days of Christmas, Red Fox? Have you ever heard of the 12 Days of Christmas? Christmas is not over. Plus, my son's coming in from out of town in January where we will be celebrating Christmas. So I suppose if that's triggering, I guess I could turn the lights off, but I don't know. Kind of like them. Maybe I should set up a poll for my next live stream. I don't know how to set up a poll. Next live stream, I'll ask, should I turn the lights on or off for the live stream? But anyway, that's for another day. So I did have a number of things planned, and I still probably will get through everything, but a little bit of a change of plans. I started diving into this whole Eden thing. I'm at the very beginning. The absolute very beginning of research on it. But I thought I'd share with you guys tonight because I was going to talk about Hive On and a number of other things, profitability of mining pools, that type of thing. But before we do that, I got something in the mail. I'm going to do an unboxing, or shall I say an unbagging. You know, they're really amazing. They could fit a mining, in this bag. That's amazing. So I'm just can't wait to open it to see how I can put this together. Obviously it's not a a server case or anything like that, but let me take a look and see what I find inside. Shoot, the tape caught. There we go. And got coasters. Love it. Octominer coasters. There's my lovely wife in the background, who, by the way, had her last chemotherapy tonight. So we're happy about that. 2 coasters. Make sure there wasn't anything. Oh, hold on a second. Be right back. Some lovely Octominer stickers. Got 3 of those. And then, just to make sure there's nothing else in here, an Octominer t-shirt. I cannot grab this right. So thank you to Chili, who sent this to me. I appreciate it very, very much. He reached out and said, "What's your t-shirt size?" And I told him, I said, "What's that for?" He's like, "You'll find out." I said, "Okay, cool." So anyway, thank you very much, Chili. I appreciate it. Is Chili here tonight? Do not see him. Let me, yes, my daughter is Atomic Star, in case you didn't know that. And she vetoes, she likes the lights. So there you go. Oh, and my wife did change the lights to all white instead of the colored. But anyway. All right, let me see. Gosh, you guys are tagging me all over. You still more than on time compared to Chum Change. Yes. I was a little bit late because I was doing research. There was a reason for it. Sorry. And we were late getting out of chemo tonight as well. That's a whole other story, but our normal person that gets us started. If you notice, my wife actually still has hair left. And that's because she was using something called DigniCap, which is a cooling cap. By cooling her scalp, it slows the chemo. Basically, chemo kills fast-growing cells. Well, if you have a cold cap on, it slows the cell's growth while the chemo is in your system. So thus kind of fooling the chemo into not harming it as much. So she was able to keep probably about 30 to 35% of her hair. So better than losing it all. That's for sure. So anyway, did I borrow Chum Chang's clock tonight? Oh my God, I was less than 5 minutes late. Gee whiz. I know I'm usually on time, but man, you guys are brutal. Absolutely brutal. All right. Daughter says lights stay on. So yeah, lights are going to stay on. Yeah, I would leave it up all year, but I don't think the neighbors would like that much. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah. So now it's hopefully it doesn't come back. That's obviously the key. So her prognosis is good. So we're thinking positively. So we shall see. Oh, wait a minute. It's 2 stickers and a magnet. Oh, it is 2 stickers and a magnet. You are correct. A magnet. Nice. I love these magnets. Probably stick it on the back of my car with the rest of my magnets. Let's see here if there's any. Yes, thank you, Baldini. I appreciate it. You know what? Actually, that was part of it. 56 was research organizing tabs. No, I was not researching organizing tabs, but I was organizing tabs so that I could talk to you guys and not have to like go find the tabs amidst all my other tabs. So yeah. Thanks, Deeprint. I appreciate it. Yeah, she's got some neuropathy that will probably get worse initially, but should get better start getting better after a few months. So anyway, thanks guys. I appreciate all the nice comments about that. That was not my intention to get into tonight, but we are excited about that. So opened up that and let's start talking about Hive On. A lot of people talk about Hive On as it's great, you get free payouts. Well, yeah, but I'm always like, it's kind of like going shopping on eBay and you're like, oh great, this $150 thing has free shipping. Great, free shipping, it's $150. But there's another thing that is $120 with $10 shipping. Oh my gosh, you got to pay for shipping on that. But it's only $130. You're saving $20 by paying for the shipping. This is kind of the same thing. If you're paying about 1% for your payout, say through Ethermine, and Hive On's free, well, as long as Hive On is within 1% of Ethermine, sure, you're no worse off by mining with Hive On. But in this case, we're going to show you how they're really not close. Actually, the first thing I want to show, bear with me here a second while I get some things organized. If I do this, no, it doesn't make it any bigger. Let me zoom this in and then I'll switch over to the screen. Oh, I do not like Snippy Tool. Let me see if it will work. Nope, that just scrolls up and down. Oh, well, hopefully you guys will be able to see this. Yeah, it's kind of small up here, you can see, but this actually was a post by the guy who runs, or one of the major guys who runs Hive OS and Hive On. And this was his example that he gave. Well, no one pool is ever on top. Yeah, except Hive On. If you look across all of these, and again, this snapshot was from September, so quite a while ago, and we're going to look at the snapshot that is from current to see where they're at now. But you can see this is over 2 months. The longest time frame is 2 months. If you look at 2 months, which is obviously you're going to have average, luck will average out over that period of time and such. But you can see there are, okay, Nanopool was below, which that doesn't really surprise me so much. Whatever pool this is below it. And Zpool was below it at the time. It looks like it was a pretty new pool and probably was learning how to do mining and do it right and such. This is actually a pretty good pool now from what I've seen, but it's still extremely small. But I mean, that's not really an argument to be made of why you should be mining at Hive On. Okay, fine. Let's go to 1 month. Okay, again, nano pools below them. Nobody else except for whatever pools these are. Let's go to 2 weeks. Now we're starting to get into where luck is going to come into play. But even so, nano pools below and crazy pool is below. But again, crazy pool is smaller. They could have had a run of bad luck, but they're nowhere near a good paying pool. They're showing by their own admission that they're bad. And again, this is September. So let's take a look at where we are now. This is where we are now. This is miningpoolsprofits.com. And if you look, it's pretty interesting. You know, we were just showing Crazy Pool. Well, Crazy Pool has had a crazy streak of luck. Somehow they have consistently had better luck than average. But again, over longer periods of time, this is 99%. So it's pretty close to 100% over 3 months. So, but that's a big reason why they are the top performing pool, is because of the luck. But let's take a look at, I always like to compare everything to Ethermine. They're the big guy on the block. They're, you know, they are usually going to be close to average. I was actually surprised to see that they were like 2% worse than average in a lot of cases. So, I mean, today they were better than average, but that's not typical. Normally, like I said, they're about, this is 2.04, about 2% worse than average. So let's compare them to Hive On at every step of the way. Okay, so here, Hive On has better luck, 101.36, but yet Ethermine's only 1.84% off what Crazy Pool is at, and Hive On's 11%. That's a humongous difference, 2.85 versus 3.15 in payout. I don't know about you, but I'd be willing to pay for some payouts if I knew, I mean, each payout at 1%, you know, if you held until you had 0.2 Ethereum, your payout's going to be like 0.00, cost you by 0.002 at 100 Gwei gas. So you can see it does update automatically. But anyway, point being is that this is way, way lower than Ethermine. I don't get it. I'd much rather mine at Ethermine and pay the 1%. So, and this is consistent across the board. They are always worse. Just one time period after another. And I believe today, no, I guess today was, they were still worse, but you know, they were, but Ethermine had a really good day today. So once you start getting into these short time frames of 7 days, I try not to pay too much attention to these periods of time because it's so luck based. Once you get beyond that, it's certainly 14 days is kind of in the middle. I certainly would rather look at like 30 days because therefore the size of the pool and the luck doesn't have as much to play in it. So anyway, and you look at this compared to almost anybody else, it's bad. Now, sure, you look at it next to F2 pool, looks real similar, doesn't it? Real similar. That's not an accident. We'll go into that in a little bit. So now Flex Pool ran into some problems, but they're not a bad performing pool either. It's just the fact that they ran into some problems about 90 days ago that caused them to have much worse profits for that period of time. Honestly, I like Flex Pool. This is the main reason why I haven't gone back to them, is because every so often they have a problem. And recently they had a DDoS attack and they had some outage problems. So anyway, again, Flexpool I like, but they do have their issues from what I've seen. Anyway, so if we look at like 2 miners, for instance, and this is one I find a little bit interesting because this one, you're looking like they're pretty similar. I mean, if you look at this one's like their luck was 100.98 versus 102.11. So yeah, they had a little bit better payout than Ethermine, but you know, it's pretty significant better luck. If you look at this one, 102.01 versus 102.34, they're very, very similar, and the luck is a little bit better, but the payout's a little bit worse. So yeah, that leads me to some questions there with 2 miners. And again, I'll get into that in a little bit. So anyway, this is a great site to do a comparison, but the things to look at are the luck, which is this middle line. And then obviously the payout comparison, as well as you can look at the percentages or the payout, the raw payout. But looking at those two and doing a comparison, you can't just say, well, this one pays out way better without looking at the luck, because the luck has a lot to do with it. So I think this is interesting with FlexPool, that they have like really good luck, but yet have had some issues and their payouts aren't great. They're not horrible, but they're not great either. So anyway, I think that just shows you that they've had some issues along the way that have caused them to get lower payouts. So anyway, so looking at this, and thanks to Serpent, who also was raising some issues about Eden Network. And so let me explain a little bit about Eden Network. So Eden Network has been raised out of Archer DAO, which Archer DAO was a developer of MEV software. Basically, what they have done is they've put together an MEV type software where they can get around the standard MEV and the standard MEV bad players, such as front runners, sandwich players, all the different things where with Ethereum, you have what they call the dark forest. I know that Bitsby Trippin has talked about it. The dark forest of all these transactions trying to get into a block. And there are MEV players out there that are constantly analyzing somebody else's idea. And they're like, wow, that's a great idea. That's extremely profitable. Let me put myself in a better position by stealing that idea and letting me profit off of it. That, in essence, is quite a bit of what MEV is. It's stealing somebody else's idea. Now, maybe stealing isn't the right word, but in one way or the other, they are taking somebody else's idea for a transaction and basically putting themselves in a position where they can get ahead of that transaction so that they can do it instead of the other guy, and so they can profit off of it. With Eden Network, they get around that basically by somehow not making it open to the dark forest, and they can kind of do it through this Eden Network so that, yes, it's still an MEV transaction, but nobody else can see it out in the open. So that's in essence what it's doing. The question is who is of the block producers, meaning the mining pools, who of them are actually taking advantage of this Eden Network and the profits it provides? And are they paying it out to the miners? That's the real question. And that's the tough part to really understand. Are they really paying it out to the miners? Because it's complicated. It's not as simple as saying, well, if they got this much Eden, we should be paid out this much. And if they still hold the Eden, then they didn't pay it out. Not necessarily. They need a certain amount of Eden to make things happen, to get positions in blocks. And there's a lot of things that go into this. I'm still learning about this. I really just started learning about this today. So like literally within the last 2 hours, I knew a little bit about it before this, but didn't know a lot of this detail. So I'll be doing more diving into it. But what's important to know, and what did I do with my piece of paper that I had that showed which mining pools? I don't know. I just lost my notes. Oh, well. Well, let me go over to here and I remember which ones they are. But these are the pools that are participating in on the Eden Network. And that is F2 Pool, Hive On, 2 Miners, Ant Pool, and Nano Pool. All 5 out of the top 8 pools. And they say, in fact, they do, yeah, participating hash rate, basically 1/3. Those 5 players are the ones that basically add up to that hash rate. So it does not appear that Ethermine is participating in that hash rate at all. So, and again, I'm not saying participating in this Eden network is a bad thing. What I'm saying is that, yeah, maybe not real honest if they're not paying out what, because this in essence is MEV. It really is. And so it's not real honest if they're not classifying this as MEV profits. So the question is, are they or are they not? Well, if we go back to the mining pool profits, well, it's funny how it works out. Hive On and F2 pool lag behind everybody else by a considerable amount. That's very interesting to me. I don't think that's an accident. 2 miners might be paying out quite a bit of it, maybe not all of it, but they're certainly keeping their payouts close. So that's kind of hard. You know, the thing is they're so close. It's hard to tell whether or not they are paying out everything like they said they are as far as their MEV profits. It's really hard to tell. So you have 2 miners, F2 pool, Hive On. I don't think any of the other one. Oh, Nanopool is another one. Now, Nanopool honestly looks like they're paying out. But it is interesting. That might have been a recent occurrence, because if you look at that other graphic I had up, Nanopool was way down as far as their profitability. So they may have changed their ways. I don't know. But I definitely would like to raise the question with 2 miners as far as how they're classifying their Eden transaction profits. So again, it's not a bad thing that they're doing this. It's just have some transparency with it. And they may come out and say, hey, look, we considered MEV. I don't know what the big deal is. Yes, we're paying out the Eden network profits. So we'll have to kind of wait and see if I can get any more information. I did actually just join the Eden Discord. So I haven't really found a lot of good information as far as from a mining perspective and a block producing perspective, but we shall see. So again, thanks, Serpent, for giving me something to go down the rabbit hole on. I appreciate that. Anyway, and what I did find interesting in looking at this is that Mining Pool Hub looks really good, like really good. So now their website is not exactly clear as far as I'm concerned. Maybe those of you that have used it in the past might find it easier, but to me, I wasn't clear exactly what needed to be done where on their website to make sure you were able to mine ETH and pay out and whatever else you wanted to have paid out. So yeah, I may try mining there and see what my results are there. Right now, I am mining at 2 miners and doing the Bitcoin payout. So I am saving that 1% that I would have to pay. And I look at the comparison, and really, it's pretty darn close to what I would be making at Ethermine, but I'm saving 1%. So I think it's a pretty good decision right now. I may try Zet or Flexpool. And I do find Crazy Pool pretty interesting right now. I don't know. There's a lot of good pools out there, but the ones I would say definitely to stay away from are F2 Pool and Hive On, no question. I just, the numbers don't lie. I mean, that's the thing. People can say whatever they want, but in 90 days, things should average out. There's, good players. I mean, and of course, there's always going to be small differences, but when there's large differences after 90 days for the size of these pools, I think the writing's on the wall that something's going on. So not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just simply stating, vote with your hash rate. If these guys aren't paying out enough, they're not paying out as much as others, go mine where you can pay more. You're still mining ETH. I don't know why anybody would have loyalty to any single one of these pools. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. Go mine at any one of these pools that is paying out more than the pool that you are currently mining on. That would be my suggestion. All right. I've been rambling for quite a while. Let's see how many questions I missed. Let's see. Just saw that my daughter said dibs on a sticker. Yes, you can have one of the stickers. So as long as you thank Chili, I don't think Chili's here tonight though, but send him a DM on Discord. And thanks Big Willie for telling me one of them was a magnet. Let's see here. I went back too far. Okay. Anyway, all right. I can't go through everything. I'm just going to go through the things that I am tagged on. Every time I've compared ETH pools, Hive On is worse than the popular ETH pools. Every time. Exactly. How are they still have as much hash rate as they do is beyond me. I don't get it. I don't get it. I did mine with them for a little bit until I realized. So as I put it, friends don't let friends mine on Hive On. That's been what I've said numerous times. Don't let people mine on Hive On. They're giving away money. They're letting a pool producer just profit more highly. And there's nothing wrong with that by itself, but that's just like voting with, with your dollars. When you go to buy something, you want the best value, however you define that value. Well, in this case, what's the best value? The more ETH that you mine. There are other things that can be beneficial. Like if you're mining it at Hive OS, yes, it's all integrated. It makes it nice and easy to see your results in one spot. Yeah, there's some value to that. My opinion, maybe a 1% value to that, not 7 or 8%. So yeah. Let me see what else I was tagged in here. All right. Yeah. Yeah, Baldini, let me at some point maybe remote in to your router and I can take a look at it. Box fan asks, do your kids have their own rigs for their allowances? Well, as I said, Atomic Star is my daughter, and she does have two 3060 Ti's in her computer that she mines with, and she had been mining on her CPU. I got to get that back running, help her get that back running and figure out what we're going to do with that. She just upgraded from a 2700 to a 5900X on her computer. So yeah, so we're working on that. We got to figure that out. Probably, I don't know if I'm going to probably going to do Raptorium would be my guess, but everything has been changing quite a bit on Raptorium versus Avian versus Monero Ocean, and we'll see. My son, on the other hand, no, he was introduced to it. He had a bum 2060 at the time that was giving him problems with it mining. I didn't know a lot about mining when we introduced it. And he just basically said, this isn't worth it to me. It's ruining my graphics card, yada, yada, yada. So, I didn't know enough to kind of tell him that he was wrong or anything like that. And it ended up, he had that card at Asus 2060 RMA'd twice. So there were some problems with that series of cards. But anyway, alrighty. Let's see if there's anything else I missed. Wow, 47 people watching. Thank you very much. How many likes do I have? 41. Wow, you guys are compliant with those likes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And speaking of thank you, let me start with that. Yes, I have reached the magical 4,000 watch hours, and I'm in the process of applying for the YouTube partnership program. So can't thank you guys enough for making that happen. I will be doing a giveaway sometime in the future. I need to kind of figure that out, but want to get the partnership program thing going, make sure I've got my content going at a more consistent pace like I had last month. A lot of things going on this month personally. So anyway, but thank you so much. I really, really cannot thank you guys all enough for all the support. So much appreciate it. Let's see. So yes, my daughter basically let the cat out of the bag. And I think I mentioned it before. She is graduating in May and already has a job lined up for June 1st at a job that is extremely close to our house. So she will still be living with us, which I'm happy about. But not every parent would be. But yes, I am very, very happy that my daughter has a job when she graduates and in what she wants to do, which is very cool. So yes, right now, actually, she has a more powerful processor in her computer than I have in mine. I've been debating whether to pull the 5950X out of the mining rig and putting it into my computer and then swapping it. But I haven't done that yet. So anyway, we'll see. It depends on how much I do of the editing. But yes, she is a very good editor, as you guys have seen. So, so I saw Rad C Puman said, I saw a video that your daughter moved off NiceHash to 2 miners with the Bitcoin payout. Do you find that 2 miners is significantly better than NiceHash? Yeah, it's utterly simple because, especially for her, when you're mining to NiceHash, you're mining into NiceHash, and then you have to then make that transfer into whatever exchange you want to make that into. Most people on NiceHash were exchanging to Coinbase because it used to be a free exchange. It's not a free exchange anymore. It costs some money. So now, yeah, she is not mining the NiceHash anymore. But the nice thing about doing it through 2 miners is it's an automatic payout. You set your payout threshold, and then they automatically pay out to that threshold. So if you set it at the minimum 0.005, when you hit that threshold, it's constantly throwing it to your exchange or your wallet, wherever you have it mining to. So yes, I think it's easier. And we haven't done any again, because payouts and stuff change so often. When you change from one to the other, the 2 time periods aren't comparable. So unless you're mining with equivalent hash rate at the same time on 2 different pools, NiceHash versus a pool or such, then you could make that comparison. So we didn't put like one 3060 Ti on NiceHash and one 3060 Ti on 2 miners. So we can't say that for sure, but typically from things we've seen, and if you look at like what to mine, typically NiceHash has a worse payout than most mining pools. And the reason is, somebody's buying that hash rate. Well, why are they buying that hash rate? They're buying that hash rate because they think they can make more money than actually buying the coin with that same amount of money. So yeah, they're making money on it, and NiceHash has to take a cut of that as well. So those 2 pieces of profit margin lumped in there mean that, the things I've heard is somewhere between 5 and 10%. I've heard 8 or 9 is the typical number I've heard, but it's not like NiceHash discloses that to us. We don't know what that number is. They don't really want us to know what that number is because it would only highlight the fact that they're paying out less. So, I like the fact that she's not on NiceHash anymore because she's not mining she's actually mining the coin at this point, as opposed to being paid to mine the coin for somebody else. I know that may seem like a small difference, but it is a difference. So anyway, just glad she's off of NiceHash and on 2 miners. And I would say if you've been in the game for a little while, you're better off getting off of NiceHash. The only time where NiceHash might be a benefit is when we have no idea what's going to be the most profitable. But with that said, NiceHash is always chasing. Now look at what's happened with CPU mining. Everybody's chasing what's the most profitable. Well, by the time you chase, how many people have already moved over there on NiceHash? Or how many people have moved over there for other reasons? Everybody's chasing that most profitable coin. So sometimes it's better to stay put because everybody's moving and you're staying put, and now you can benefit from everybody else moving to something else. And then when everybody realizes, oh crap, Now it's back. Now what I was mining is back being profitable. Okay, now I'm going to go back to it. So yeah, it almost seems like a zero-sum game to me. But at the same time, when things are changing a lot, being on a profit switching miner might be of some benefit. So I don't know. Right now, we don't really have to worry about that because Ethereum in most cases is still the most profitable and the most consistently profitable. Now I know that Flux and occasionally Raven coin, a lot of these other coins, depending on the LHR card that you have, can be more profitable. So yes, I know that there are some cases like that. So anyway, alrighty. Well, thanks, Magic Lucky. I appreciate that very much. You want to share what we found out about Coinbase Pro wallets, just in case anyone here uses it too. Why don't you come downstairs and refresh my memory on that one? But yes, I remember there was something and I would like to share it, but I don't remember what it is. So come on down, please. Let's see here. Yeah, 40K on student loans. Yeah, engineering degree, 4-year engineering degree. Yeah, it's expensive. Hang on one moment, please. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I remember. So one of the things we determined and got a little worried about when we made the change to 2 miners was that Coinbase Pro changes their wallet addresses every single time you make a deposit. So we're like, oh crap, how are we going to mine to Coinbase Pro? Do we need to create a wallet? What are we going to do? Well, after further research, every time you make a deposit, you have a new wallet address, but you don't lose the old wallet address. The old wallet address stays. So every time you make a deposit at Coinbase Pro and you get a new wallet address, that's just accumulating all your numbers of wallet addresses that you could possibly deposit to, which I find amazing. But yes, she can continue making that deposit on the one where she said, yep, this is the wallet address. So anyway, just thought that might be something good for other people to know, that when Coinbase makes a new wallet address, don't worry. If you're mining to it, it will continue to accept your deposits on the original wallet address that you copied and pasted into your mining bat file. So don't worry about that. Okay. Alrighty, let's see. What else did I want to go over? I lost my, I had it up. That was on the piece of paper I was looking at. Where did that piece of paper go? Making me crazy. And I know what it was on. Oh, there it is. Okay. Found my piece of paper. Okay. So the other things I was going to talk about tonight, well, sorry, to kind of finalize that subject, I'll be doing some more research on Eden. I'm hoping that I can get some answers from some of the mining pools. I tried actually getting an answer from Hive On regarding payouts and profitability and such, because way back when, this was probably in October, I think. I don't remember the exact time frame. I had been noticing that Hive On's actual blocks that they were mining were consistently less full than everybody else's. And that has consequences. And they argued, oh no, it doesn't have consequences. It absolutely does. If you have fewer transactions, that means you have fewer available miner tips. The more transactions, the more possibility for miner tips. It's just a zero-sum game. If the average miner tip is 2 and you have 50 transactions versus 100 transactions, it's going to make a difference, and a fairly significant difference. So he basically told me I was completely wrong, that block utilization has nothing to do with profitability, and I vehemently disagree with him. So once I got to that point, I realized that I didn't feel like I was going to get a straight up answer from him. So I just left it at that, and I'll let the numbers tell the story, because regardless of whether or not he's right and I'm wrong, or I'm right and he's wrong regarding that. The numbers don't lie. Numbers strictly do not lie. So anyway, I'll let you guys know what I find out. Not sure when I'm going to have a chance to completely dive into it, but I will be diving into it. Alrighty, so going to the next thing I wanted to talk about was Helium. So last week, this week in Helium stories, last week when I talked to you guys, I said that I had reasserted my location for my Helium miner. Well, it was great while it lasted, but had 2 other miners show up in my hex like a couple days after my miner finally woke up. And then my transmit scale plummeted down to 0.45. I was at 0.67. So I was right back where I started from. I'm like, gosh darn it. So then I started looking, I'm like, okay, if I change to somewhere else that is approximately the same location, will I benefit? And I finally figured a location that I can reassert to, and I have, and my transmit scale has gone back up to 0.66 right now. So it's significantly better. But anytime you change something like reasserting your location, it takes a little while for the system to kind of, I guess, retrust you. Anyway, bottom line is I think it will retrust me after a while and we should be all good. But yeah, I had to reassert my location. Now this location I've reasserted to is about 500 meters away from my actual location. And I don't know why I didn't do it there in the first place, because in this location, it's mostly open. There's about less than half of the actual hex has houses. The rest is open space. Duh, should have done that in the first place. There's nobody in that hex before, or right now. The place I moved to had one in the hex already. Putting a second one didn't affect the transmit scale. But going here, I should be able to stay in this hex without an effect on my transmit scale for a longer period of time. And again, there's a lot of things that go into it. Can the network figure out that you have reasserted outside of where you actually are? It can, but it needs things a lot closer when you're trying to, basically what it does is it measures signal to noise ratio and how that differs to the different hotspots that are around you. Well, where I've moved to, there's only one hotspot that would significantly change in what that signal to noise ratio is. Every other one around me, because of the orientation from where I was to where I moved to, hasn't changed at all. And I'm talking about the ones within 1 kilometer. And then the other ones won't matter. When you're over 2 kilometers away, there's too many variables that can affect that signal to noise ratio that unless you are, 2-3 kilometers off, it's all relative. So anyway, I think I'll be good. It's just a matter of it has to kind of retrust where I am and that it still makes sense. And I think it will. So we shall see. We shall see. So that's the Helium miner update. Like I said, right now my profits are a little bit down. They're still doing well. I'm not complaining, but not as good as they were when I had initially reasserted and started, the miner woke up and it was doing really good. And now that I've reasserted again, it's dropped down a little bit, but it hasn't just completely shut off like it did the last time. So anyway, see if there is, oh, and I did actually, so supposedly this week, MNTD had stated before Christmas that they were going to have a drop this week. But I haven't seen any announcements. I didn't check Twitter today, so maybe there might have been an announcement on there possibly today. I don't know. But they said originally a few weeks ago that when their drop for the US failed, they would be rescheduling the drop. And they had said, look for it the first week of January. Well, we're in the first week of January, so we'll see. So I'm hoping that I can get 2 more Helium miners, because now I do have 2 locations. That would be perfect. Found out that my in-laws is perfect, would be a transmit scale of 1. And I'm looking at the other locations around them, and they have very good payouts. So that would be a perfect location. And then my sister-in-law also is in Florida. I won't say where, but she's in Florida, and she's in an area where she's at the highest location, significantly the highest location around. And I looked at some Helium miners that were around her also at very good payouts. So have two prospective locations. I'm hoping I can get those going. So and be able to basically manage those remotely as well. So we shall see on those. Okay. And solar update. And unfortunately, I know I said I was going to update this. I'll probably delay a little bit of this until next week, because I wanted to be able to pull up pictures and things like that. But so it was a good year, about 7.5 kilowatt hours. Sorry, 7.5 megawatt hours for the year. So it's a pretty good year. The majority of my power, the vast majority of the power that I get off of solar, the vast majority of the power that I use for mining is not from solar. The maximum amount of power that I get during the summer at the peak of sunny days is 5 kilowatts. Well, that's about how much I'm using downstairs. So I'm always pulling, and obviously at night I'm always pulling. But the real benefit for me of solar is the fact that I'm on variable electricity. So at the peak of the day, when it's hot out and I've got solar going, it will reduce the amount of energy that I'm pulling in order to mine during that period of time when energy costs are higher. At night during the summer, energy costs drop dramatically because the difference in what is required for both periods of time, night versus day, is drastically different. And power plants don't like to scale like that. They like to stay more even. So that's why, yes, they try to encourage more power use at night through this variable program than during the day. So yeah, I benefit quite drastically from that. So my solar really helps me take advantage of that particular program, because I'm making a lot more money off of the solar during the day when the cost of electricity is higher. So anyway, that's the update there. And then lastly, wow, 3080 Ti BIOS update. I've been reading a lot of things, and that was actually where my intro, hello fellow miners, came from, because that's what Crypto Donkey Miner always says at the beginning of his videos. So that's where that intro came from, if anybody didn't pick up on that. Yeah, I mean, I wish that more 3080 Ti GPUs were able to use this little trick. But from what I can tell with the research that's been done throughout the day, it does not appear that very many 3080 Ti's are going to be able to take advantage of it. Now, people are still looking into it, but that was the latest that I saw. And that the last story that I saw basically was that they believe the reason why the Dell was able to do this, the Dell 3080 Ti, was because it was basically a downgraded 3090 anyway. So that's why they think that would probably work on that particular one. And they have gotten it down to, I don't know if it was a serial number or model number, or a BIOS number. I'm not sure. I looked at it very briefly. I didn't dive too much into that, but I'm looking forward, hopefully, to other crypto YouTubers that actually have 3080 Ti's. I'm very curious to see what they're able to find out. I know that Red Fox has one, if he is still here. I don't know if he's done any research into this, but would be very curious to see what he might find out. Chum Change, if he's here, that would be very interesting. Work with Rondi on that maybe and see what you guys can come up with. And then I know that Red Panda said that he was willing to sacrifice one of his 3080 Ti's for science. So we shall see. Might be a couple of interesting videos that might be coming out regarding this particular subject. So I'm looking forward to it. So why is there no love for easel in your pool reviews? I honestly just really haven't looked at it. I know that there's people that I respect that mine to easel and really, really like it, and like the fact that they're getting easel rewards. And I think easel's going to do well. So I don't know. It's just, I was looking at mining pools profits and looking at that. That's a good tool to measure. Easel a little bit more difficult because you're not just mining Ethereum, you're also mining easel. So when you're trying to compare apples to apples that way, it's a little bit more difficult. Now I will say, one of the articles I read, easel is also doing Eden Network as well. So yeah, do your own research on that, I guess would be the best way to put it. As far as, is their profitability really that good? But again, I don't know. I haven't been able to really look at them at this point. So yeah, not really intentional, just haven't looked at them because the tools available haven't really shown them. So, oh, they do have an ETH only pool as well. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, this particular one isn't evaluating it. The other thing I showed doesn't show. Oh, I guess it does show easel. So if we look back at, well, that's interesting actually. So Crazy Pool was super high, but again, they're small, which means that could just be, oh no, actually over 2 months, Crazy Pool was extremely profitable at 2.91. And then you have Flex Pool at 2.55 and easel basically at 2.55. And this was back when I knew that Crazy Pool and Flex Pool were the most profitable, but I wasn't aware that easel was also extremely profitable. I wish I knew where he got this and how he did this table. If any of you know where this came from, I would be really, really interested because this does a lot more pools than the mining pools profits. So how much did 2 miners pay you? This is a completely unsponsored and unsolicited video. So no, they have not paid me a dime. They have not contacted me in any way. This is simply my opinion. I will actually be doing a video as to why I'm so in love with 2 miners. I like the presentation of their pool. They present all the information really, really well. You know, when you turn a miner on, you know, within like 30 seconds, if it's been seen by the pool. I mean, if you look at Ethermine, shoot, okay, let me sit here for 10 minutes and see whether or not, you know, the mining rig that looks like it's mining to find out if it actually is mining. 10 minutes. I don't know. I like 2 miners for that. And there's other things as well. I just think they present a lot of information in a really good fashion. So at any rate, yes, I do like 2 miners, but they have not paid me or solicited or anything. There's no affiliate link in the description for 2 miners. There's nothing like that. No, I know, Big Will, you're just trying to push my buttons. Yes, mission accomplished. Yes, I knew you were joking, but other people don't know that you're joking. So I have to, you know, I always wonder when I talk about certain things, if they say, oh, gee, I wonder why he likes that so much. Yeah, well, it's just because I like it. I'm not sponsored in any way yet, but hey, if you want to, if anybody out there wants to sponsor me, hey, I'm all ears, except for those, Windows, licenses. If you are associated with them, do not contact me. Anyway. All right, let me see if I can go back and see if I missed anything. All right, let's see here. Oh yeah, get your daughter a new place 1 kilometer away, perfect for a miner. No, I think we'll save some money and actually have her live here. I think that's probably a good idea. We have plenty of room for her. Our house is plenty big at this point. But anyway, let's see. I am not allowed to undervolt. It's not in his name. No, I undervolt everything. Well, I shouldn't say I don't undervolt my NVIDIA cards. I don't think many people actually undervolt their NVIDIA cards, but I have unvolted my AMD cards. Let's see. Alrighty. Well, I've been rambling here for almost an hour. Any last questions? I'm pretty sure I hit everything that I wanted to hit tonight and share. Yeah, when you have a good product, you don't have to advertise. Word of mouth is enough. Well, it will grow slowly that way. If you have advertising, it can still be good. I'll give you a good example. Anybody heard of Sidecar? I'll keep waiting. I'm guessing a lot of people of you have never heard of Sidecar. Sidecar was the original, I cannot think of the type of, basically, the original Uber, basically. They had way more features. It was driven by engineers. It was not driven by marketing. It was not driven by finance, anything like that. They just wanted to design the best system. Mission accomplished. That system was awesome. It had so many features for the driver. I could solicit my own rides. I could re-solicit rides. I had, through Sidecar, I used to have when I used to drive for Uber, Lyft, and Sidecar at one point. And in doing so, with Sidecar, I was able to solicit rides when I knew somebody had to go to the airport, once, twice a week that lived near me. I would say, oh yeah, I'll make sure I have my app on, and they would solicit the ride, and they could actually request me on the app as long as I was on. So things like that were great features of Sidecar and the other part was, it doesn't matter. There were a lot of features that are now incorporated in both Lyft and Uber, but they originated at Sidecar. Well, Sidecar's dead. And that's because they couldn't market themselves out of a paper bag, and their finance department wasn't focused on getting more investors when they needed more investors. So yeah, they're dead. They went under. So yeah, unfortunately, yes. Sorry, you triggered me on that subject. Oh, so are you and Rondi actually plotting to do a 3080 Ti BIOS mod? Is that what I'm seeing, Chump Change? Rondi, let's do it. I see Rondi say I'm down for it, but I'm still going. Oh, Red Fox, you're here. So are you going to do a 3080 Ti BIOS mod? If you're still here, I'll wait. Alrighty. Well, if anybody doesn't have any questions, oh, Red Llama, you've got a 3080 Ti. Yeah, that's the same thing I was reading. I'm just curious if there's any way of beating it, possibly. Oh, I didn't hear Panda bricked it. He said that he was willing to brick it for science. That was the last tweet that I saw. Yeah, I don't think it'll likely work. Heck, the EVGA GPUs that I have seem really LHR'd, especially as I mentioned before, my 3070 is way LHR'd. It clicks into LHR mode if I just twitch the wrong way. So anyway, alrighty guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. Again, appreciate everything you guys have done to help me get to those 4,000 watch hours. Hope to continue to bring value to the channel. Still kind of debating on, once monetized, what I can bring to the members as well. So I'll be thinking about that as well. Lots to think about, lots coming to the channel. Things that are coming along are, I'm going to be doing a more detailed pool comparison as far as profitability. I will see if I can throw eZill in there. I got to see if I can find the data on it, but I'll be looking at that because I really want to push people to mine at the most profitable pools. Let's force those pools that may be collecting more profits because they think nobody's watching, and force them to pay that out. Because if they don't, their hash rate's going to drop. And maybe they don't care because POS is coming. Well, if they don't care, well, we should care. So I'll be bringing that content to you guys sometime in the next week or two. That's probably going to take a little bit of time. Anyway, alrighty, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And oh, thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate it. And you guys all have a great night.